I'm going to do some calculations involving moles. So we're talking about this huge concept in chemistry that's going to help you figure all sorts of crazy things out. Let's say that you're given, or I give you, 2.5 moles of, let's make this one kind of a tricky one, calcium phosphate, Ca3PO4, there's going to be a 2. So I have 2.5 moles of calcium phosphate. Now, there are three things that I want to determine out of that. One of them is I want to find how much that weighs. Okay? So I want to find out what the mass is going to be. The other, I want to figure out how many formula units are represented in 2.5 moles of calcium phosphate. And the third thing I want to figure out is what volume. No, I don't, because I can't do the volume. The volume can only be done if calcium phosphate was a gas. So we'll scratch that. So we'll just stop right there. Okay? So the first thing that I'm going to do is do the mass calculation. Now, 1 mole of a compound is going to equal its gram formula mass. And this is a relationship that you're going to use a lot. All right? I look at the formula of calcium phosphate. It shows that I have 3 calciums, I have 2 phosphates, and there's going to be 8 oxygens. All right? So I go to the periodic table, and I see that 1 calcium atom weighs 40 atomic mass units. So it's going to be 3 times 40, and since I'm calculating gram formula mass, that's grams. A phosphorus is going to weigh 31 grams, and the oxygens weigh 16 grams. All right? So when I do the math and add all these up, I'm going to end up with, once it's all said and done, 310 grams. So that right there is how much 1 mole of calcium phosphate is going to weigh. All right? So now I'm going to take that same equality. So now here I am talking about the calcium phosphate. And I'll rewrite the calcium phosphate up here so you can see it. So I got Ca3PO. For some reason it's not writing that. Okay, let's move it. Oops. Oh dear. We're in trouble. I got to move it down a little bit. Okay. Back to, so I got calcium phosphate, Ca3PO4 twice. And we just figured out that the gram formula mass of calcium phosphate was equal to 310 grams. Now using that equality, it said, all right, 1 mole of calcium phosphate, Ca3PO4, equals 310 grams. I can now take my original 2.5 moles, so I have 2.5 moles of the calcium phosphate. This equality, going back to the whole dimensional analysis thing, can be written in a form of a ratio that says, all right, for every 310 grams, I will have 1 mole of that calcium phosphate. Now, what I've just done is I've set the problem up. All I need to do now is plug it into my calculator. I'm going to go 2.5 times 310. What that's going to equal right here is going to equal 775 grams. Now I know this is right because I've set the problem up correctly. The moles are going to cancel out. grams are the unit that is remaining. Grams are what I was looking for. And so I'm pretty confident that what I've just done is the correct way. All right? So I took this equality right here. I took the 1 mole of calcium phosphate being equal to 310 grams. I got the 310 grams by adding up the mass of all the atoms that make up that compound. And I guess I should have had this in there to make it right. Sorry about that. And then I just multiply 2.5 times that. Now if I want to take this 775 grams and turn it into number of formula units, I could do that in a two-step process, but I'm going to go back and I'm going to just use my 2.5 moles to figure out how many formula units there are. So the next conversion is going to use the relationship that 1 mole is equal to Avogadro's number, 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd particles. Well, in this case, it's going to be formula units because I happen to be talking about calcium phosphate. All right? Now, like with every equality, you can form two conversion factors. And I'll write these out just, so you can kind of see what I'm doing. 1 mole over 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd FUs. This will be 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd FUs per mole. And since I was given 2.5 moles to start out, the conversion factor that I want to use is going to be the one that's going to allow me to cancel out the moles. Well, if I look at it, it's going to be this one right there. So what I want to have is my given amount multiplied by the correct conversion factor. In this case, it's going to have the 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd FUs for 1 mole. Again, the significant part here is that the moles are going to cancel out because a mole over a mole is 1, and that's just like any other relationship that, equals 1. So it's gone. I now take my calculator, and I'm going to go 2.5 times 6.02 to the 23rd, and I'm going to end up with 1.5 times 10 to the 24th formula units. All right, so that's formula units of calcium phosphate. Individual calcium phosphate little units. All right? So, that's that for now. I'm going to do later one involving a gas.